So I'm trying to get new players right now, and one of the things that I'm noticing is that one of the biggest turnoffs is just kind of a lot of the graphical issues that this game has that are turning people away. My window's open, sorry if you're hearing cars. A lot of the graphics in the game, a lot of stuff it's just early, it's like programmer graphics. I did have a designer kind of help me overall with some of the, the UI elements on the screen. But for the most part, the notes, particles, a lot of it's just like programmer art. I made it once, I never touched it again because it worked well, mostly. And then I've been looking down for so long that I'm kind of immune to like the ugly parts. So I spent a day just making a list of all the things I wanted to fix, and we're looking at screenshots here because I want to find, well, apparently I removed already the button labels from the target bar. I think that was probably the ugliest thing on the screen. I think I want to just take them off entirely, except in beginner mode when they're there to help players know what button is what while they're learning. But other than that, I want to just get rid of them. And I really got into like the nitty-gritty. So one of the things I don't like was, I'm zooming in on the health bar, there's this chromatic aberration where I'm I don't know if that's what it's called, I'm splitting graphics between, what am I saying? I'm splitting up the graphics blue and the green and just slightly offsetting them. It causes a little bit of like, I don't know, blurriness. It looks great on things in the distance, like that's what it's for. And I'm splitting on blue and green just because that was kind of the colors of the game when I was making it. But for all these UI elements, like the health bar, it just makes it look not crisp and kind of ugly. And then also these, the target bar as it stands right now. So I'm keeping that, but I just don't want to apply it to things like that are, user interface elements. Also, bloom. Way too many things are blooming in this game. So I just want to remove it from most of like the gameplay elements. Like the bloom in this game, it looks bad. I'm zooming in on it and it's all like weird and chunky. And then there's all these artifacts. So for like gameplay elements, unless something like is actually like lit up, like the headlights on Elia's rig, well, these thrusters should be blooming too, are they? I don't think they are. You know what, in the release game, these draw completely white, I think, and that's just a bug that's always been there. So, remove bloom from things that don't need it, like these lines. I just don't need my eyeballs to be fried all the time, and it just adds more visual noise. I want to go for more clarity. I want better graphics for the target bar. You can tell I was doing some work, like making these zigzag sliders be the right color. But I kind of want to redo all this. I want to get rid of, well, here's what I want to do. My plan right now is for all of this stuff to just not even be here most of the time unless it's relevant. So I want this stuff to, like you see, I have a screenshot where some column notes are popping up. I'd like for these elements, like we have a column 0 note coming up, this thing could like pop up like 1 beat ahead of time, kind of in the way that the tutorial pop-ups of the button labels happen in beginner mode. And then if there's no notes, they're like the note approaches, you hit it, and then it disappears, like it's not needed. I really don't want this jump, what is that? Jump indicator thing. I don't even want a flashing target bar, maybe in beginner. I just kind of want nothing. I don't want nothing on the screen. Let's see what else. Oh, the track lines between the columns. I don't want them to bloom anymore, but also I want them to be dimmer a little bit. They don't need to be quite so bright. I really wish I could figure out how to make this middle one not just disappear in the distance, but that's... someone smarter than me could do that, probably. So I really want to go minimalistic. I want new target bar graphics. I'm not really feeling anything rounded right now, like this part of the health bar or just the corners on these, on the target bar, kind of, whatever these are, these just targets on the target bar. Oh, and as far as zigzags, something I wanted to do a long time was to have some kind of, here, I'll draw one, thing, and I think they'll only pop up when they're needed, and then they will like interact with zigzags and, you know, move back and forth. I think they'll probably kind of appear kind of behind the player so they don't interact and maybe kind of flattish on the track. I think they'll have this, like the appearance of like runes instead of like a physical object. They'll look kind of like digital, like rune type of things. I want to redraw a lot of this stuff so that it just has more clean appearance. Even the bitmaps for these things are like, here's one of those. Even the bitmap is like blurry. It's all like aliased and stuff. So it's like no wonder everything's just a blurry mess. So I want to fix that. The next big thing I want to change is basically all of the animations of the player's rig right now. I really don't want it to do nearly as much. I want everything to make sense. I want to fix the jump animation. I don't know even why I put that weird flip in, but I just want like a realistic looking jump for those jump notes. I'm not fond of, I'll talk about what I want to do for that later, but the way that the viewers will see how the player is interacting with the game, I want to come up with a totally new idea. And I have a couple. I don't know if they're good, but we'll see. I just want the rig to, any changes in steering or speed, even in score mode, even though the scroll speed won't change, I want the rig to look like it's speeding up and slowing down. I want the thrusters to do things. I want it to look like it's, you know, animating and gaining power from the notes that you hit, like even in score mode. I want it to show like the friction, even if, you know, in score mode you don't really slide around at all, but I still want the, you know, the friction, like sparks and sounds to come. So I want to bring as much physicality as I can to that stuff. Let's see. I've got notes I'm looking at, of course. The particles that you see when you hit notes, maybe I should play the game. Let's play the game, because I'm talking about stuff, but you're gonna see something I put in here that I was playing around with, and since I'm gonna show you that, I might as well talk about it right now. Beast mode, why not? Because I don't want to. Every time I have to choose a song. Oh, I don't have the audio piped in, huh? Well, that's fine. We don't need audio. So, there's like a thing. Okay, I wish I could pause without the pause. There is a thing in front of the car, and this is one of my ideas. It's a little bit weird, but there's like in front of the player's rig, there's like this pop-up HUD type thing, heads-up display. And I want that if the player's rig is not doing any animations, I actually like remove them just for this purpose. I just wanted to see what would it be like if it looked like you as the player were controlling the daemon inside the rig who was playing the game inside of the rig. The kind of like a, what is it? Inception type thing, or breaking the fourth wall a little bit. You would see I have some like controls ish things that you would see reacting to your inputs as you know, press buttons and push sticks around. And then on the screen would be some kind of like representation of the game, and it would look like whoever's in the rig they're playing a game while you're playing the game, controlling them. Is that a little bit weird? I don't know. I think that's odd. I don't know if that's gonna work. That's something I want like feedback on. And then of course when you boost, like all that will go away, and then you'll be, steering, and then when you come back to the rhythm gameplay, this kind of HUD will come back. It's definitely an idea. I don't know if it's a good one. So I definitely want to revisit all of the types of graphics. I spent a whole day like reworking the guts. You see these flashing on the holds. I hate that. Anything flashing, and this is like literally the first particle effect I made, and it worked. So it just stayed forever. Especially on the zigzags holds, it just looks so bad. And I really have wanted to redo the zigzag graphics forever because they're just ugly. They're literally the first thing that worked, and so I just left it alone. Yeah, I spent a whole day redoing all the guts of the zigzags so that I could make an easier time of changing the appearance. But that's boring. But the work that I did there will allow me to do other things like audio cues for zigzags that actually pan and stuff like that. So I think that's going to be really cool. Let's see. So particles and effects, I want all new effects. I have like just a huge list. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do all of it. That's why I'm kind of doing the devlog. I want to see like what do people think is worth doing, like help me prioritize. So let's see. What else is on my list? Okay, helper clap sounds. I kind of want helper clap to be on by default, but I'd like it to be a bit of a different mood. I want the rhythm helper sounds. I want not just a clap or like an instrument, something that's like laid on top, like literally rhythm helper. I want it to be sounds that sound like they're coming from inside the game, and I want them to all correspond to animations that are happening. Like I said, these target bar things. Where's the GIMP? I want them to pop up when they're relevant, or like the kind of zigzag receptor. I want it to like appear. I want sounds for all those things. And then I like what is the sound of like a zigzag, or like a zigzag hold that sweeps across the screen? What do all those things sound like? What does actually hitting a note in this world sound like? So I want different sounds for different types of rhythm inputs, and I want different intensities. So like let's see, if there's like a big string of jump notes like we just saw. Sorry, I've got the audio off. And like, so that's like a big string of jump notes. Sorry, I don't have audio cues on. I don't even have the game audio in here, so you probably can't hear what I'm talking about. But like, if there's a big string of something, I don't need to use like the full intensity sound. But let's say there's like one jump note in the middle of nowhere, I can use like a bigger sound, right? Or if there's a really tight, like 16th note stream of like column notes or something, I don't want the full impact sound. I can use like a smaller sound for those cases. Hopefully that makes sense. But I want the sounds, those rhythm helper sounds, to actually sound like they're coming from the game, and to actually add to like the impact of the game. And I want those things to be on by default. So who knows if I don't know what I'll be able to come up with. It'll be fun to try. I don't know what the time frame of this whole thing I'm thinking about is. Maybe it's something I'll work on alongside of other tasks, but really I need to work on this because, I talked about in my last devlog video that advertising just doesn't have the impact that it needs just because the game has all these problems and ugly things, right? So it is kind of a priority right now, I think. Let's see. I think that might be just about it. I have a few more notes about the animations of the rig and making it so that the casual player, not viewer, like if someone sees the game, like even if the rig's not doing anything at all, like a casual viewer understands what's going on. And that's kind of what I was hoping this heads-up display would do. Like, people would see that and they would get the sense of that, like, gameception type of thing happening. Or what if this was more like a real-time strategy game type of unit where the player, us, we're not controlling it directly, it's doing its own thing until we need to, like, click on it and take over. So are there ways graphically that I can kind of indicate that? It's a little bit of a weird thing to see, like, in a racing game, but maybe with, like, some other type of graphics on top of the screen. I don't know. There's something we could do. Something. I don't know what. Let's see. I think, oh yeah, like, I think I already talked about making just speed ups and slowdowns like have more impact. Basically, everything needs to have impact. I think the sounds will help with that a lot, but when I rework all the different effects, like, I definitely want missing a note to have a bit more impact. There is a sound, which is annoying, which I don't like, and it does kind of cut out the sound or key sound that whatever that note applied to, but that's just kind of annoying instead of making you feel like you missed a note, you know? So I think I can do better. Anyway, I probably have a list of like 150 things to do at this point, so I think that's about it. This is just an overview. And this is just like a day of pondering over this stuff. And so I hope to put more of these devlogs up about working on the aesthetics of the game. I think people will be interested to follow that. I think that's the kind of thing that people like. I mean, people post on Twitter about their games like, look, I changed 4 pixels, and then they get 500 likes, that kind of thing. So I'm aiming for that vibe. So hopefully the process of improving with something that people will be interested in and will draw interest to the game. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and hope, yeah, you'll see more of this. Bye.